Are you trying to get through to someone for a tough dialogue or a persuasive argument and it is not working and the stakes are high, let's say for the program or your engineering project? Or maybe you're in the role of a systems engineer and you have to roll out requirements that maybe aren't very popular. In that case, you might need to use some NLP, neuro-linguistic programming techniques, to create rapport, and then once we have rapport with someone, then we're really able to connect. Now, there are many aspects of NLP, but for this tip, we're going to discuss matching a modality. Now, what is a modality? Basically, it's visual, kinesthetic, auditory, gustatory, and then olfactory. Now, gustatory is taste, olfactory is smell. We really don't use those in office conversation necessarily. The big three are the visual, kinesthetic, which is tactile and feeling, and then auditory. Now, if we can change our vocabulary, so as we're describing what we want to describe, conveying our message, this is after we've done active listening and we're very centered, we're understanding basically their mind map, how they see the world. We ask other questions. So how do you do this? You ask questions and listen to how they describe things. And if it looks like they are using visual type words, so things like what I just said, looks like, that's a visual. So that's a key that they have a visual modality. There's also a way to look at their eye movements. So if they're visual and you ask a question that they need to think about, they will look up. It's up to the right, sometimes up to the left. I will refer you to the research there, but they're trying to pull something from their visual map and then repeat it. And these are subconscious movements. So there are ways to tell if they're visual. If that's the case, then we want to use visual language too. So they'll say, hey, it looks like this is too expensive, or, I don't see how we can implement MBSE on this program. Well, then we want to say, well, as I see it, or I think the picture is pretty bright if we make the upfront investment, and then we go on with the argument. So we're using things like see, picture, can envision. What we don't want to do is do a cross modality, and if they're visual, we say things like, oh gosh, I hear what you're saying, and with listening to the rumblings of the customer, I think they really want us to hit schedule, or whatever it is. That's using auditory words like listen, I can hear, ear to the ground, rumblings. Rumblings could be kinesthetic as well, but those are words that cue us into, okay, this person processes information auditorily as their primary. Now, for kinesthetic, you might hear words like feel, or I'm having trouble grasping or putting my hands around a situation. These people are probably very good at car repair or woodworking, something that requires using your hands. So there again, we want to match their language and speak their modality. Think of it like an FM radio. Okay, if we're broadcasting at 101.3 FM, we want to but their radio is tuned to 98.7 FM. We want to move how we send our information to their channel. We want to move our transmitter down to 98.7 and then send it there. So it's the same idea with moving to maybe a kinesthetic or an auditory channel and then communicating. Again, this isn't mind control, but the point is to really establish rapport and get that deep connection so we can really connect and have that exchange. We can share what we need to share, particularly if it's an employee on a performance report. So again, for this tip, look for the modality, visual, auditory, or kinesthetic as primary ones. And again, find out by asking questions, let them talk, look for clues, look for their eye movements. If you want to know the eye movement specifics, I'll direct message me or leave a comment. But find out what their primary is and then shift to that modality in how we speak and how we describe things, even how we describe our requests. So, again, comment below if you have more questions, if you want more resources. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next tip. And again, direct message me if you have specific questions about your situation, and I'll try to help.